2011 BMW 335i on the rack. Getting front wheel bearings. I'm going to show you what I do to get them done. Obviously, first and foremost, you want to lift and safely support your vehicle on jack stands. If you can't handle that, you can't get your tire off, this video is probably not for you. So make sure you lift and safely support your vehicle on jack stands. Next up, you're going to remove the rotor retaining screw. It's a 6mm. This one's already broken loose. They can be stubborn sometimes. So you might have to heat them up. Definitely need to spray them down. But you need to remove that rotor retaining screw. That way you can remove the rotor in the future. After that, you're going to turn the wheel to the direction where you can access the caliper bracket bolts. Next up, you're going to remove your pad wear sensor. It just pulls out. It's very straightforward. I don't have very good lighting for you, but it literally just pulls out. Then you're going to want to collapse this caliper. I usually take a flathead screwdriver and pry to this direction, and that collapses that caliper very simply. Then you're going to want to remove these two 18mm bolts. Now you can remove the two 7mm guide or caliper pins. That's only if you're changing the brake pads. If you're not changing the brake pads, you do not need to remove these. Remember to take your master cylinder cap off also, because you're going to be forcing fluid back into the system. You don't want to create any excessive pressure in that master cylinder. Now that the caliper bracket bolts are removed and the caliper has been collapsed, you can remove it and tie it up to your coil spring. Do not just leave it hang. Again, I collapse the calipers by sticking a screwdriver in and just go towards the outside, and it collapses the piston very simply. And then that caliper is free and we can hang it up. Once you have your caliper safely secured where it's got no pressure on that brake hose and it's not going to fall on your head, we're going to remove the rotor. Remember, you took the retaining screw out. Now you need to smack here, 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 and here, and that rotor will fall off. Now remember, it's going to fall off, so catch it. Be careful, be ready for that. Remember, these vehicles do not have lug studs, so there is nothing to hold that rotor on. Now you have 4 bolts that need to be removed that hold that hub to the assembly, to the knuckle. You need to spray them with some kind of penetrant or wax. You might need to heat them up. There's the 4 bolts. Now there's 2 ways to tackle this. Some people take that pinch bolt out and lower the knuckle. I don't do that. I just use a wobble, a 1/2-inch wobble extension, and a short socket, and I'm able to pull these out. You got to work at it a little bit, but it's easier than mess with all that and potentially messing with your alignment. I don't like to do that if I don't have to. So you take those 4 bolts out, and then we'll keep on moving. Now those 4 bolts do have some Loctite on them. They may require to be heated a little bit if you're not using an impact to remove them. So a little propane torch or MAP gas torch is sufficient for this. Just be very careful, use caution when using those. Again, I know you can use an impact on this, but not everybody at home has an impact, so I'm going to show you what I use when I don't have accessibility to an impact. First, 1/2-inch drive, wobble extension, and an 18mm short socket. 1/2-inch drive flex head ratchet. It gives you plenty of access to get those top bolts removed, so you do not have to lower that knuckle if you don't want to. Now on this side, be careful not to damage your wheel speed sensor wire harness. It's right next to it. As long as you're careful, it'll come right out. Okay, now that you've got all 4 bolts removed, you're literally just going to smack it off. Probably can't do it one-handed, but you get the idea. Just hit it around the edges. It'll come off. You see it's already separated. Just like that. Now, you want to make sure you clean all of this before reassembling. Get all this corrosion out. You want this bearing to have a nice flat surface to sit on. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, we've got it all cleaned up. I like to put a little bit of just a light coating of grease on this, just to keep that from seizing again. You'll notice this bearing has a notch at the end. Remember, that always points to the back of the vehicle. So that notch will be right here, pointing towards the back of the vehicle when you install it. Now when you're putting it in, you'll want to use some Loctite on the bolts. I like to use blue Loctite. So what I do is I set it on there, and it should just set in there. If you've got to force it, then you need to clean more. I start my bolts, get it to where it's nice and even, cross pattern, and then I torque the bolts down. I believe the proper torque is 110 Newton meters. I'll double check. You should always get in the habit of double checking the torque on your own. Don't ever take advice from somebody on a video. Check your own torque specs. So we're gonna get these torqued down and I'll be right back. Always use a calibrated torque wrench when installing bearings, brakes, anything for that matter. So we're gonna get these torqued up and put back together. Now you'll reinstall your rotor with your rotor screw, which is one 6mm bolt. Then we're gonna reinstall our caliper with bracket, which is two 18mm bolts. These get torqued at 110 Newton meters also, but like I said, double check that. Don't take my word for it. Always check your own torque values. Snug them, then tighten them to torque. Very good time to inspect your pads, which these are good, but the customer wants new ones anyway, we're going to do it, but you're going to install your pad wear sensor, which just clips right in. Then install your tire, torque it down to spec, lower it down, and you're good to go. Now this is a pretty straightforward job, unless it does what the other side did to me. But I want to give it maybe a 3 out of a 10 on difficulty scale. If you're having to do it without power tools, it's maybe a 5 out of 10, just because those bolts can be a bear to get out just due to corrosion and stuff. But you can still do it. It doesn't take very long. It's easy to do. Take your time. Make sure you look up your proper torque values. Do it right the first time. Don't guess. Don't just one or two ugga dugga or just, crank on it like Superman. Do it right. You won't regret it. Hope this helps. Have a wonderful day. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know.